lock or natural hair journey is oh so rewarding, but can be extremely stressful when you start to consider what products to use. If that's you, then look no further. Locklicious is a Black-owned company that has created an all-natural product line for locked and loose natural crowns. The Locklicious team works hard to ensure that their products are free of parabens, phthalates, sulfates, PEG, synthetics, and other toxic chemicals you find in other products. Best of all, the products are lightweight and will not leave residue or cause buildup. Go to locklicious.com to start treating your crown like royalty.
If you want to have a better view on how the Bible looks at women in its proper context, then you should get these two books. Matriarchs of the Covenant, written by Abdil Ben Levi, popularly known as Zion Lex. This is a masterpiece.
All right. Peace to everybody in the building. It's been a while. But I'm here, I'm ready, let's get it on. I'm here and I'm ready. Let's get it on. If you guys can hear me loud and clear, just type a 1 in the chat room real quick. If you can hear me loud and clear, just type a nice 1 in the chat room real quick to let me know that you can hear me loud and clear. Let's get this in. Shout out to all the moderators in the building. Shout out to everybody in the building, those of you who are coming in. I just want to make an announcement. I will be going live again tonight with a sister. Shout out Yacolia. You already know I'm with the Sugar Honey Iced Tea. Shout out to you. I'll be going live again tonight at 8 p.m. So we got a double hitter for you guys. I'm about to go into the young Pharaoh situation, an extremely unfortunate situation. But also tonight at 8 p.m., we're going to hear from a sister in the Israelite community who I regard as a scholar, especially with her knowledge on connecting the history of ancient Sumer and the early Hebrews. She was recently featured on a very low-budget platform known as the Dagger Squad, which seems to be a boys' club. Which may sponsor, things like LGBTQ, LLP, and all that good stuff. And she beat the owner of that platform up. I think he calls himself after a cat, Garfield. Meow. She beat him up so much that he had several people join in on the panel so as to give the impression that she didn't know what she was talking about because he had so many people join her and, go against her. And, I reached out to her and let her know that a lot of people have went through what she went through. So I invited her on my platform so she could have a balanced and fair opportunity to share her views. And I'm going to tell y'all, the sister is bad. So make sure, moderators, don't play with anybody. Anybody coming here tonight, even look like they disrespecting, hit them with the block button. No timeout tonight. Hit them with the block button. No timeout tonight. Hit them with the block button. Anybody coming in here, even looking like they disrespecting moderators, hit them with that block button. So again, we will be back again at 8 p.m. But now, real quick, for the young Pharaoh situation, I want to first and foremost say, shout out to Angie. Shout out to you, Angie. Once again, you are on it. Shout out to Angie from Snatch Investigations. My ear has not been to the streets. It's been my birthday the whole month of November. That's how we celebrate. The people born from October 23rd to about November 22nd, the way we celebrate is we say the whole month is our birthday. So I've been real out the loop celebrating my birthday for the whole month. so I haven't had my ears to the streets. But shout out to Angie from Snatch Investigations, and for posting the information as it regards to young Pharaoh being locked up and being arrested. As of right now, if I could talk to you guys in real time, as of right now, young Pharaoh is out on bail. All right, as of right now, this situation took place about 2 days ago. But as of right now, this moment in time, young Pharaoh is out on bail. But he was in fact arrested, and his bail was set at 15K. And as you guys know, you just got to drop 10%. So you're talking about $1,500. All right, I'm going to go into the details of this matter, courtesy of Angie. Courtesy of Angie. Shout out to Angie. I want everybody to subscribe to her YouTube channel, which is Snatch Investigations. I'm even going to put the link in the chat room. I'm even going to put a link in the chat room. I want you guys to go to her original video, and I want you to make sure that you comment on it. She is so consistent in giving really, really good information. And even if you don't always agree with everything that she may have said, I think still ultimately she deserves a follow, because in terms of the controversy that's been unfolding in the so-called conscious community in the last couple of months, she's definitely been at the top in terms of presenting that information, you know, right along with the greats, or the great Tasha K. Shout out to Tasha K as well. So please make sure, guys, that you follow Angie, which is Snatch Investigations. Moderators, if you can, could you write that in the chat room? Snatch Investigations. Snatch Investigations. Everybody, please make sure you give Sister Angie a follow. We'd love to see her channel grow, because she provides amazing content and amazing information. All right. Having said that, we're going to get right into it. So the young Pharaoh done struck again. The young Pharaoh done struck again. He was arrested. And I'm going to read to you again. I say courtesy of Angie, because the content that I'm sharing with you today, I actually got from going on her channel. So I'm going to share that with you right now. As soon as you guys can see the screen nice and clear, I'm going to go right into it. In fact, let me see if I could do that. Which one is better? All right, let me blow this up a little bit, because I want everybody to be able to see this nice and clear. All right. All right. Pull that back just a little bit. Pull that back just a little bit, in the hopes that everybody could see this nice and clear and be able to read it with me. All right. I want everybody to see it nice and clear and be able to read it with me. All right. So here we go. This is filed from the District Clerk, Marion Burgess of Harris County, and by Robinson Gregory Robinson. The log number 2793244. And the arrest date is November 22nd, 2021. The arrest date is November 22nd, 2021. The state of Texas versus Marshall J. Daniels, otherwise known as Young Pharaoh. Marshall J. Daniels, otherwise known as Young Pharaoh. All right. He's charged with a misdemeanor charge and a terroristic threat. I'm going to go into all of the details for you guys right now by literally reading from the document that Angie posted from Snatch Investigations. All right, so here we go. In the name and authority of the state of Texas, before me, the undersigned District Attorney of Harris County, Texas, this day appeared the undersigned affiant. An affiant, for those who may not be familiar with legalese, legal language, an affiant is a person who is witness to something and has filed an affidavit. All right, an affiant is someone who was witness to something and has filed an affidavit. So this day appeared the undersigned affiant, whose name is signed below, who under oath says that he has good reason to believe and does believe that in Harris County, Texas, Marshall J. Daniels, otherwise known as Young Pharaoh, heretofore style as the defendant, on or about November 19th, 2021, did then and there unlawfully threaten to commit an offense involving violence, namely aggravated assault upon a person with whom the defendant had a dating relationship, namely Tanea Davis, otherwise known as, and I'm sure many of you know, young Pharaoh's um, more famous of his two baby mothers. I believe she goes by the name on YouTube of Golden. I believe she goes by the name on YouTube as Golden, and they have her named here. Heretofore call the complainant with the intent to place the complainant in fear of imminent serious bodily injury. The details, guys, of the account is that young Pharaoh entered the premises and let off a couple of rounds from a gun while there was children in the home. The gun was allegedly discharged in or adjacent to the garage, and there was definitely children in the home. Her name is Golden Beauty. Thank you very much, moderator Tammy. Thank you, Tammy. Golden Beauty, one of young Pharaoh's children's mothers. So here we go. The allegation is that young Pharaoh is alleged to have discharged a firearm on premises at the location into the garage while there's his child's mother and his children present in the home. And he did this, right, as an act of trying to threaten her. As you guys know, I've covered the story. Angie's covered the story. Several people have covered the story of young Pharaoh to show, what's been going on with him in the last couple of months. And you guys know there's a lot of concern for mental awareness. There's a lot of concern for mental illness on his behalf. So a lot of things have been taking place. Things just got real. All right. Things just got real on November 22nd when he is alleged to have discharged a firearm and let off a couple of shots at her home, at her place of residence. All right. While there are children in the home. I don't think there's a person alive that either respects or doesn't respect young Pharaoh, or either respects or doesn't respect Golden Beauty, that would argue against this being very, very crazy at this point. And I made the case a couple of months ago when I first covered this story that young Pharaoh needs serious help. And if not, his situation is going to spiral out of control and get worse, if not violent. And you guys are obviously seeing that right now. Let me go to the next document really quick. The next document is the state's motion for bond conditions. All right. So as of today, right now, young Pharaoh has been released on bond. He has been released on bond. And the state has already filed a motion for his bond conditions. And it reads, the state of Texas versus Marshall J. Daniels, comes now the state of Texas by and through its assistant district attorney and moves this honorable court to enter the following bond conditions. In the county criminal court at law number 3 of Harris County, Texas. Let's look at what the bond conditions are that the state is vying for. State requests that the defendant have no contact with the complainant in this case, or anyone in the complainant's household, including siblings and parents, in person or through any other person, telephonically, by mail, or by any other manner or means for the duration of this cause, and the following individual and or locations. The complainant, Tanea Davis, otherwise known as Golden Beauty. State requests the defendant not possess any firearms, ammunition, or other weapons. State requests the defendant to submit to random urinalysis. State requests the defendant be prohibited from using, possessing, or consuming any alcohol, controlled substance, dangerous drug or marijuana unless prescribed by pursuant to a lawful prescription issued by a medical doctor. Let me just tell you guys something right now about what you're hearing so far. Anybody familiar with the criminal court system in America, you know that it's one of the toughest in the world. You should know that. For those of you who may be familiar, the criminal court system in America is one of the toughest in the world. Having said that, the state of Texas do not play when it comes to dealing with alleged criminals. The state of Texas does not play. Look how technical and even problematic and possibly crazy some of the conditions are. One of the conditions is that the defendant be prohibited from using, possessing, or consuming alcohol, any alcohol. In case nobody is really considering what they're really trying to do right now, first let's consider, guys, that alcohol is legal. So long as you are of legal age, you're legally able to take alcohol. If you're 21 years or older in most states, you can have, consume, be in possession of alcohol. But one of the state's motion for the bond conditions of young Pharaoh is that he cannot be caught using, possessing, or consuming any alcohol. That means if young Pharaoh is in the car and he gets stopped and there's alcohol in the car, guess who just violated their bond for condition and will be facing more legal charges? That means if young Pharaoh is at somebody's Thanksgiving, and I'm sure this is what the state is banking on, because what Thanksgiving celebration in America is not going to be accompanied with alcohol? This is one of the biggest drinking times of the year in the American nation. And quiet as it's kept, a lot of y'all so-called conscious leaders and teachers, they be talking about they not into the holidays and they don't do it. But I could tell you from personal experience, I've personally witnessed some of the most influential conscious figures in the conscious community going perfectly against the things that they say in the public eye in terms of not embracing, quote unquote, the white man's religion and the white man's celebrations. In other words, I actually know a couple of conscious figures in the community that do celebrate Christmas with their families and will be partaking of Thanksgiving with their families. So quiet as it's kept, it's more than plausible that young Pharaoh will be at somebody's Thanksgiving. Having said that, what Thanksgiving in America is not accompanied by the serving of alcohol, which means they're going to have a watchful eye on young Pharaoh. Mark my words, especially on Thanksgiving. He better really watch himself, because one of the conditions for his bond, for his release, is that he cannot be caught using, possessing, or consuming any alcohol. So y'all should know that for them to go after him with something that's perfectly legal and perfectly permissible is grounds for them really trying to get him. Let's just be clear on that, which is unfortunate. And I want to be clear that, this is not about celebrating the demise of a black man. This is about reporting on things that's happening in the conscious community and being just as what the word entails, conscious and aware of the things that are unfolding and going on in our community and around our eyes, right? So this is a very unfortunate situation for all parties involved. Young Pharaoh's child's mother, known as Golden Beauty in the social media circles, but her name being Tanea. It's very unfortunate for his children. It's very unfortunate for any family members of hers and of his. It's an all-around very unfortunate situation. And I know a lot of people have biases in either direction. People have biases first because they follow young Pharaoh, so they don't want to hear any of this. Then there's people that hate young Pharaoh, so they're celebrating this. But I want to make it clear that on this platform, we are doing neither either. We are doing neither either. We are not celebrating the demise of young Pharaoh, nor are we supporting young Pharaoh. We're simply reporting on what's going on to make the community aware of what's happening. Let me move on. The next thing that he's banned from is any controlled substance. Let me just tell y'all something right now. As a former EMT that worked in the field for almost 10 years straight, I could tell you that that term controlled substance is extremely general, and it can apply to a lot of things. It can in fact apply to over-the-counter drugs, just so we clear, because you do have over-the-counter drugs that are legally classified and, more importantly, medically classified as controlled substances as well. You have to know that. So that means that, once again, the bond conditions that they're setting for him are super technical. In other words, they laying down tripwire. They want this young man to fall. In other words, they are laying out tripwire. They want this young man to fall, because that term controlled substance in a medical setting and even in a legal setting is a very broad term and can even refer to over-the-counter drugs. Let's make that clear. Marijuana prescribed under pursuant to a lawful prescription issued by a medical doctor. State also requests the defendant be prohibited from the following: leaving his residence without a GPS monitor, with complainant's residence and place of employment as exclusion zones. So what they're now saying as one of the terms for his bond conditions is he cannot leave his residence unless he has a GPS monitor, and he can go nowhere near the complainant's residence, which is Golden Beauty, his child's mother, nor can he go to her place of employment, because the state of Texas is taking the imminent threat of the allegation of young Pharaoh discharging a firearm in the home, right? They're taking that extremely serious, as they should. If the allegations are true, as they should, the state is taking it really serious. So they're making sure that he's not allowed to go to her place of residence, nor is he allowed to go to her place of employment. But I also want you to consider this. They have him now wearing or donning a GPS monitor. If we're just, thinking beyond the obvious, that the GPS monitor is just for knowing whether or not he's going to her residence or knowing whether or not he's going to a place of employment, if you can think beyond the scope of that, which is just the obvious, then you might be able to consider that there's possibly another hidden reason why they're asking Marshall J. Daniels, otherwise known as Young Pharaoh, to wear a GPS monitor. A GPS monitor is going to track his movements in a way more consistent with any app on your phone, in a way more consistent than any Android or any iPhone, in a way more consistent than any social media technology today that is already equipped with GPS functionality. By him having a state-appointed GPS monitor, that is going to give them far more access than what your apps track through your phone or through iPhone or Android is able to track with you just simply having your phone. A state-appointed GPS monitor, and I'm telling y'all from experience, I know people, so I know what I'm talking about, is far more invasive as a piece of technology than your iPhone or Android. It's way more invasive, way more sophisticated. They are seriously tracking him. So the other question that I must pose at this point is, what else are they looking for about young Pharaoh's movements? What is young Pharaoh doing during his leisure time when the lights, cameras, and action is not on? When he's not on YouTube, when he's not on Instagram, when he's not seen on a big camera, where is young Pharaoh going? I don't know. And most of you don't know. But one thing is for sure, the state got a hunch. And I guarantee you that's the bigger reason why they appointed a GPS monitor. And this situation gave them the license, as it were, to be able to do that. But I'm banking that there's something even greater that they've been watching about him and have seen some consistency about his movements that have led them to want to put this GPS monitor on this young man. And we're going to move over to the next document, which is, all right. This document, again, shout out to Angie of Snatch Investigations. If you guys are not subscribed to her channel, make sure you subscribe to her channel ASAP. Make sure you subscribe to her channel ASAP. She is definitely putting in the work. All right, make sure you guys subscribe to Angie. Shout out to Angie in the building. I see you. Keep doing the work. You are providing great information for us. I think it's highly credible. I think you are very necessary, and I salute you, Angie. Please continue doing what it is that you do. You are needed in the community. You are very unbiased. I appreciate the way that you handle, these scenarios and these cases and the allegations. You don't walk into it with any personal feelings. You report on what it is, and you give credible information. And that's what people should respect about what it is that you're doing. So shout out to you, Angie. And now I'm going to continue to read. All right, this is the state of Texas, again, versus Marshall J. Daniels. And this now is a motion for sufficient bail. A motion for sufficient bail. The state of Texas, by and through its assistant district attorney, requests this court enter a sufficient bail pursuant to Texas Code, Criminal Procedure, blah, blah, blah. Sufficient and non-oppressive bail is required to give proper consideration to the nature of the offense, protect the safety of the victim and community, and provide reasonable assurance that the defendant will return. The nature of the case reflects, here we go, and they go Angie's logo. Whenever you see this logo, y'all know it's Angie that is reporting the information first. So again, give her credit. I see a lot of people using her stuff and not giving her credit. Every time I've ever used Angie's work, I've always given her credit. And I'm asking all of you out there that are using her stuff on the low, give the sister the credit, man. Stop acting like it's y'all. Give her credit. We got to stop thinking self. We are a community. We are a community. Stop thinking self. Everybody don't know everything and everybody can't do everything. But if we think community, we think in terms of resources. This one has this one does that. And then we pull all of those resources together and we use and employ them in the community. So again, give respect where respect is due. Okay, the nature of the case. Aggravating facts specific to the nature of the case. The defendant has a pending terroristic case for threatening a former employee. So what they're pointing out right now is on the law books already, young Pharaoh, Marshall J. Daniels, has a pending legal case where he is alleged to have made a terroristic threat with a former employee, somebody he worked with. The state of Texas prays that the court will enter a sufficient and non-oppressive bond of $15,000. And as you guys know, legally, what that really means is 10%. 10% of 15,000 is going to be 1,500. And of course, as was mentioned earlier, young Pharaoh is already out. He's already released. So he's already home. I want to read this other part that I skipped over, which says, before the commission of the allegations that were alleged above, on July 21st, 2014, in the county court of Erie County, New York, the defendant, Marshall J. Daniels, otherwise known as Young Pharaoh, was convicted of the felony offense of criminal possession of a loaded firearm. So what are they doing now? They being very careful to let the judge be aware of Young Pharaoh's prior case regarding him having access to firearms, letting the judge know Young Pharaoh been holding firearms before he came to Texas. And the implication, I'm sure, is Young Pharaoh been discharging firearms before he came to Texas, because there's always some implication, some gray area, some nuanced statement implicit within what it is that they're doing. The state's attorney is obviously trying to give to the judge the impression that this ain't the first time that Young Pharaoh don't bust his gun, judge. So we got to take this guy very serious. We got to take this guy very serious. So I say to y'all right now, Young Pharaoh gonna need a whole lot of people in his corner. Golden Beauty is gonna need a whole lot of people in her corner, because again, quiet as is kept, regardless of any odds that the two may be at with one another, the reality is they still came together and made a child, which will forever be stained or marked by the things that are occurring right now in real time. And if they don't find a way to deal with this in real time, that child is going to grow up having some real issues. Real issues. You're absolutely right. Angie says, yup. What the state is doing is establishing a pattern. By bringing up and referencing the New York case, the state is definitely establishing a pattern of action. A pattern of action. And again, I got to say to people that are either cheering for Young Pharaoh or cheering for Golden Beauty, or against Young Pharaoh or against Golden Beauty, I got to just say to everybody that we got to just think about the bigger picture, y'all. We really do. And this is not me trying to take up for either side. This is just me as a mature adult who's also spiritual, adding spiritual guidance to the dialogue and saying, we got to see the bigger picture here. Some of y'all really have to calm down with the antics and say, y'all celebrating that Young Pharaoh got locked up. That's a celebration? That's a celebration? Since when it's a celebration? The demise of one of our own, that's not something to be celebrated. And those of you who dislike Golden Beauty because you're such a cult follower of Pharaoh, you're celebrating the fact that she had to do this against the father of her child? Or what I'm now hearing is multiple children, the father of his children, of her children. So again, a lot of people who have something to say about this are usually, bringing in their personal opinion, personal grievances, and personal gripes. But you'll always know what platforms are really dealing with the issue by how personal, the reporting of the issue is, or how non-personal it is. So again, shout out to Angie Snatch Investigations for what I say is breaking the story. Shout out to Angie. And once again, having access to court documents that have not been released, that she was the first to bring out in the community. And I want to say that to everybody that can listen to my voice, to everybody that can listen to what I'm saying, make sure that you follow this case, because a lot of people are celebrating, but there's a Young Pharaoh in your neighborhood. There's a Young Pharaoh in your community. Shit, there might be a Young Pharaoh in your home. Watch how you celebrate the demise of your own, because remember, he's your own. So it's closer to home than what you're thinking. You celebrated his demise today, but there's a Young Pharaoh in your home. There's a Golden Beauty in your home. Take away the celebrity. Take away the fact that you may not like him or her. And then just look at this young black man and this young black woman and know that these are real situations that happen in our community every single day. And you are celebrating this on social media because you dislike him, and you're celebrating this on social media because you dislike her, even though most of you, if not all of you, know a young Pharaoh and know a golden beauty. This is closer than home than what we thinking. So again, I move and motivate people to think outside the box on this one. Think with a higher thought, a higher vibration. I am not condoning young Pharaoh's actions. I am not co-signing any of the allegations. I'm not co-signing any behavior of either of them, which may have been distasteful on any level. But what I'm saying is, as you're watching the story unfold, be very mindful that we all know a young Pharaoh. Be very mindful that we all know a young beauty. With that being said, this is your brother Zion Lex. We will be live tonight at 8 p.m. Because I heard somewhere out there, there's a brother that calls himself the Dagger Squad. Very interesting group of only men. Very interesting group of only men. Very interesting group of only men. I'm going to be featuring a young lady on my channel at 8 p.m. tonight who was invited on the Dagger Squad's channel to have a dialogue. Listen to me, to have a dialogue, right, on Sumer and its connection to the Hebrews and to various African tribes. And she was set up, she was hijacked, and tonight we're going to give her the ability to show her information in a very non-biased way. So you guys tune in tonight at 8 p.m. as we hear from Sister Naphtali Israel as she shares her thoughts on the connection between the ancient Sumerians and the early Hebrews. I'll be interviewing her. She'll be doing a full presentation, and I might also drop some jewels of my own. And let me tell y'all something. For this one, you know, I haven't come out my shell in a while. I've been behaving a lot lately. But I'm going to tell y'all right now, go and get your popcorn. Because I'm coming to act up tonight. With that being said, see you guys at 8 p.m. Peace.
Starting your Locker natural hair journey is oh so rewarding, but can be extremely stressful when you start to consider what products to use. If that's you, then look no further. Locklicious is a black-owned company that has created an all-natural product line for locked and loose natural crowns. The Locklicious team works hard to ensure that their products are free of parabens, phthalates, sulfates, PEG, synthetics, and other toxic chemicals you find in other products. Best of all, the products are lightweight and will not leave residue or cause buildup. Go to locklicious.com to start treating your crown like royalty.
If you want to have a better view on how the Bible looks at women in its proper context, then you should get these two books. Matriarchs of the Covenant, written by Abdil Ben Levi, popularly known as Zion Lex. This is a masterpiece.
I wash my natural hair and my face with the same product because natural hair care is easy. Natural skin care is easy.